Welcome back to another good one, guys. I picked this thing up about a month ago. I've spent the last month sourcing parts and putting this thing back together. If you guys want to see me put this $1,000 K truck back on the road, stick around for this video. So I forgot to start recording before I started stripping parts out of this thing, but this is our new parts rig. I just picked this up yesterday after work. I'm using this to do the interior in my truck because this interior is really nice and it's been reupholstered recently. I picked this up for 600 bucks. It's got no title, no engine, and it's an early model because it has the round headlights. So we're just gonna pull the interior, the front bumper, and this headache rack, and we'll get our truck looking real nice. So let me pull out this interior and then we'll start working on the other truck. Getting the cab cleaned up now because it was really dirty, and I'm vacuuming the carpet out of the 91 right now so we can throw it in here. After we get the carpet in, we'll start throwing in the seats and the center console and all that other stuff, and the interior will look pretty nice here shortly. There we go. That was pretty simple. Just threw it in here. I need to get some like double-sided tape or something so it's not coming up when we get in and out of the truck, but looks pretty good. I'm glad someone else did all this work and not me. I need to cut out a hole here though for this front seat mount, and a hole here for this rear seat mount, but other than that, it lines up pretty good to be from the other year model. I think I'm going to get some kill mat in the future and kill mat under the carpet and actually tape it down, and it'll be pretty quiet in here. Let me cut these two holes out, and then I guess we'll start throwing in the seats. Alright, let's get started here. First off, we've got to put our center console in here because the screws are going to be covered up by our seats. Get our shift boot up here. If I can. There we go. And throw some screws in here. Looking good. Let me throw on this piece. I believe it goes this way. There we go. And now we can throw this passenger seat in. This is our passenger seat. I'm gonna hand start these bolts, I guess, so we can see if our latch up here will grab our seat back. Alright, I got those started. I guess that's fine. It latched. It latched right there. Let's set it down and see if it still latches. Fire. Perfect. And this seat just folds up and it just lays there. There's no front bolts for the passenger seat. That's good. Let me go get the socket I need to do the headrest, and then we'll do the headrest, and then we'll do that driver's seat. Alright, let's throw these headrest in real quick. They bolt in from behind the cab. They sit like that, and there's 4 nuts on the back side that you bolt the headrest on with. We're going to use these little tiny rubber washers on the outside so it hopefully doesn't leak. That one's good. Time to do the other side. Here we go. Let me move the camera and we'll throw in this driver's seat. This is our driver's seat. It does not fold like the passenger seat. So you kind of have to just line it up as you go. Let me get these rears started. There we go. This one does slide though. Passenger seat does not move. Let's see what happens. Got it. Perfect. There we go. Both seats are fully in. I'm gonna cut out that rear carpet now so I can get that tray in, and then the interior is done besides the door panels. Yeah, let me cut that carpet out and I'll be right back. There we go, got that tray in. We're behind the passenger seat. This goes up and locks now. The interior is pretty much done. I'm gonna go grab the door panels and throw those on. I'm not sure I have every part I need for the door panels though. The door handles should be good. They're not broken, but I think these are broken. This one might be fine, but this one is really bad, so that one's not gonna work. And of course, the 91 in the backyard doesn't have them at all. So, gonna have to find one of those, and it'll be pretty nice. Let me go grab the door cards real quick. Got the door cards on, the handle and the latch are on both sides. I went ahead and threw in the passenger sun visor because mine came optioned without it, and this handle I also threw in because Again, this one came optioned without it. Interior is pretty much done besides the window crank handles, but like I said, I gotta get new ones because those are both bad. I think next up we are going to start working on the outside. I'm still waiting on parts for the engine. I've got the carburetor here, but none of the rebuild parts. I'm gonna throw on the tires from the 91 in the backyard because they're from 2018, I think, and they look a lot better than these. These are all dry rotted and pretty flat, and these are from, I don't know, 2007. I don't know. Hopefully that gas tank isn't bad, because the one in the backyard is bad. But yeah, interior looks very nice now. These black seats are very hot in the sun. I don't know if that's Japanese radio or not. It's Panasonic, but hopefully it works on our frequencies. Yeah, let me see what else I can get into today. Okay, so I'm still waiting on parts to show up so I can actually get to reviving this thing. But while I was looking over the truck, I realized that it's got the wrong alternator pulley on it. If you look at the crank pulley, it's a V-belt drive, but this alternator is like a serpentine belt drive. So this is the alternator that came on the 91. Well, not on it. It was in a box of parts. But if you turn this one, the bearing is obviously bad, and it sounds like there's something in between the brushes. So what we're going to do is probably pull this pulley off and just put it on this alternator, because this one spins freely, and then we'll be good for our V-belt drive for our alternator. And still waiting on our belt to show up. But I think in the meantime we are going to throw this headache rack on the back of the sandbar because mine came without one. Let me see if I can find some bolts for this thing, and we'll throw it on real quick. I think I found some bolts that'll fit, but I still need to find 2 more. But we're gonna go ahead and bolt this thing up, and then I'll find the 2 last bolts off camera. This headache rack is very light. Go. We'll grab our bolts here. You guys can still see. No! I just broke that one off because I used the impact. Great. Guess we need 3 bolts now. But it looks better. That's how it's supposed to look. There's not holes in the back of the cab anymore. I'll see if I can get that broken bolt off. I should be able to get it out because it went in pretty easy. But yeah, we gotta find bolts for right there and on the other side. But yeah, it's starting to look good. I guess next time I record, I'll be working on a carburetor and replacing the pulley on the alternator. So I'll see you guys when some parts show up. Okay, yesterday I was talking about the alternators and swapping the pulleys. Turns out you actually cannot do that because the faceplate is different on the tops of the alternators. So this pulley sits all the way in here. On this pulley there's like a spacer behind here, but the spacer is too big to fit into this hole, So if I put this pulley on this alternator, the pulley hits the alternator and it's not able to spin. So what I did is I got up with this guy that lives in Okinawa. He's sending me one of his alternators from his parts truck. He's also sending me the lid for the airbox, and he's sending me both our headlights and both our marker lights. So that is good. Some parts showed up today. I got a distributor cap, a rotor, the coolant plug that I'm missing right here, and I've got spark plug wires. I've still got to go get my coil in the house, but we'll do that in just a minute. I'm going to start throwing these parts on, and then we'll be one step closer to starting this thing. Alright, this is our temperature sender. I believe this is what sends our signal to our cluster to tell us how hot the vehicle is. It goes right here with this washer to seal it, and it just has one wire on the top. And if you're wondering what size it is, it's a 22 millimeter. Gotta get this in here, seal it, but don't break the aluminum that it's going into. That feels pretty good to me. And we'll just pop this plug on. Does it need? There we go. So our cooling system should be wrapped up. Let's get this distributor cap on in this rotor. Get this engine cover out of the way and get this camera up in here. Is this a point system? Let me see if this is a point system. I don't think it's a point system. I don't see any points in here, unless that's it. I don't know, nothing in here looks like points from a normal distributor. We're just gonna throw in our rotor, throw our cap on. Rotor goes there, easy peasy. Our cap, it might be directional. That feels good there. Let's see if it feels. Yeah, that's loose. Yep, so it can only go this way. Got our cap in, and then I want to pull the spark plugs and look in the cylinders, so we might do that before we throw on the wires. Got our spark plugs pulled here. This is I think this is 4. Doesn't look too bad. 3 had this white stuff on the tip. I don't know what that's about. 2 though, 2 looks bad. It looks like there's maybe been some water in that cylinder. And number 1 had that same rust color on the spark plug there. It wipes right off, so I don't know. I've got our bore scope here. We can see what the inside of the cylinders look like. This is number 4. It's very hard to control this thing. Number 4 looks pretty good, I would say. I don't really see anything wrong with that one. Number 3. It's very hard to see. Oh, there we go. I don't know. Ew, no. That one doesn't look too good at all. It's kind of hard to see, but it's pretty rusty in there. And number 1 ain't that bad, but number 2 looks a little crunchy. That's not good. Let me run this through there and do it off camera. Maybe I can see a little bit better. Alright, I looked in there a little bit more with the borescope, but it's not looking too hot. Definitely had some water in it. I think I'm gonna go get one of those fluid transfer pumps and see if I can get some transmission fluid into the cylinder, or some acetone or something like that to hopefully get rid of some of that rust. The way that the spark plug holes are angled on this engine, because the engine's basically sideways, the spark plug holes are aimed down, so I'm gonna have to force fluid up into them so it'll hold. I can't really think of any other way to get any liquid in there unless I pour it through the intake. That might work if I can get the valves open. The engine spins over fine. I just don't like all that rust on the cylinders. She's gonna be low on compression. Let me see what I can figure out. I might start pouring transmission fluid in the intake. See what happens. This is all I could find in the garage. It's a quart of Marcon when I owned a bunch of Crown Vics. I'm gonna set you guys here and see if transmission fluid will start draining out those holes while I pour it into the intake. Wish I had a, I don't know, that's flexible. Well, that was in 2. Oh, I'm making a freaking mess. I can hear it hitting the ground. This thing's gonna stink. I'm gonna have to clean it before I start it up, because there's gonna be transmission fluid everywhere. Catching some of it, but my new problem is that I'm out of transmission fluid. I think that's coming out of cylinder 1. It looks like it is. Is that water? I could borescope them and see if they have liquid in them. But my problem here is that if I keep spinning the engine over, I'm not going to be able to compress that transmission fluid, and it's going to act like it's hydro-locked unless I take the spark plugs back out and get all the transmission fluid out of the cylinders. Oh. Let's see what number 3 looks like, see if it's got any transmission fluid in it. Nothing. Not a thing, not a drop. And of course I'm out. Let me see if I can find some more. I did have a bunch of Dexmark, but I think I gave it to my cousin. Working on getting these 2 spark plugs back out, because I tried to spin it over, and like I said, it wouldn't spin. I think we're gonna spin the engine over a couple times with the spark plugs out, because I'm pretty sure number 1 has water standing in it. And not transmission fluid. So yeah. Let me spin it over a couple times with my hand. See what comes out. Pretty tight right there. I might have to get a socket on that. I think it's a 17 millimeter. Yes, 17 for the crank pulley. Pretty tight. Let me get a longer ratchet. Here we go. Longer ratchet. I got through that hard spot. There's some transmission fluid out of 1, but I was still not able to get anything in cylinder 3. Over a couple times. I'll look at it again with the borescope. Alright, let's see if I can show you guys this. That's number 1. I cleaned up pretty good. Number 2, the top of the piston's here. Yeah, it's got some water on it, but it doesn't look that bad now. Just some dirty piston. Number 3. Looks like the piston is also at the top. There's nothing really on the piston. And what little bit of the sidewall I can see, it looks decent. Number 4 should be down. Number 4 looks really good. There's barely any carbon on the top of the piston, and the sidewalls look fine to me. So yeah, we might just run it and run some like seafoam or Marvel mystery oil in the fuel tank a couple times, see how it turns out. Waiting on carburetor parts to show up so I can rebuild our carburetor. In the meantime, I guess we'll wire weld these spark plugs and get the wires on. Still gotta go get the coil out of my bedroom. But yeah, let me clean these spark plugs up really quick. Cleaning up my spark plugs here. cleaned up pretty good, no more rust on it. Let me get these wiped down real quick, and then I guess we'll throw them back in. There's not really much we can do about getting the rest of the fluid out except burn it off. The truck is definitely going to smoke some on first startup because there's transmission fluid in the intake. It's going to be burning transmission fluid for a little bit, but that will help clean up some of the carbon on the pistons and the valves, and hopefully it will help free up any stuck rings, and hopefully it will get rid of some of that rust that's on the pistons and the cylinder walls. In the meantime, I'm going to clean up these spark plugs, and I'll throw them back in off camera. Getting these spark plug wires on and looking at part numbers for our spark plug wires. The whole time I've been explaining this, I've got our cylinders backwards. This is number 1. The one closest to the timing cover is number 1, and it says it on the spark plug wires. This is number 2. It says it on the spark plug wire. So I'm gonna get the last 2 put in and hook them up to the distributor cap, and then we'll go get that coil. Alright, got our eBay coil here. I had to find a bolt because this truck only had 1 bolt up where the coil is supposed to go. And hopefully I have the right plugs, which it doesn't look like I do. I've got the right plug for the coil, but I'm not sure what this black and white plug is for. That might be the plug that everyone online said was not used. I don't really remember. Thread that bolt right there, and then we can hook this onto that bolt. Got it hooked right there, and then we'll take this ground wire, run our bolt through it, and thread it in. There we go. And as long as that ground wire doesn't bind up, we'll be pretty good. That one's good. And that one's good. Plug this coil in, and then just gotta figure out what that black and white wire's for. I think I've got the wrong thing here. I don't know what it is, but I do know we can plug in our coil now. Red to the coil and black to the distributor cap. I think that's in. It's starting to rain, but this truck has a coil now. Let me look at Yamayama and see if I can figure out what goes there. Okay, based on about 10 minutes of research, I think this little thing here is our igniter, but I don't think that this Subaru needs it because we have electronic spark and an ignition module inside the distributor. So I'm trying to ask the Facebook group where this one wire goes. I can't figure it out. In the meantime, I'm gonna get a couple of these vacuum hoses on and our PCV hoses and just clean up what we can so I don't forget anything later. And then it's just a waiting game for carburetor parts, and we should be able to start this thing up shortly. Guess while we wait on carburetor parts, we can throw these tail light lenses on that I'm probably gonna have to take back off because the lights aren't gonna work. But it is what it is when you buy a key truck for $1,000. And to think, he said he should have charged me more. Little does he know there was water inside the engine. This truck was basically a parts truck for the dealership that I bought it from. The only reason I bought it is because it had a title and it had an engine and a transmission. That's all I care about is a title. I'm still waiting on it in the mail though. Hopefully I get that soon and we can get this thing on the road. I think the only part that I haven't ordered for this is the 2 mirrors for it. Other than that, I think I have everything either here or in the mail for this thing to be roadworthy soon. I hope I'm not getting that transmission fluid all over my boots. Tighten it just enough so you don't crack the plastic. And that taillight seal seals up and you don't get water in your taillights. Man, this thing is going to be fun when I get it running. This is essentially going to be my trail riding rig and just absolute workhorse of a vehicle. Once we get it on the road, we'll get another engine for the Datsun RV. We'll get that thing back on the road. I haven't made up my mind on it yet, on the Datsun. I don't know if I want to sell it yet or do countless hours of rust repair to it yet. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know if I want to put myself through all that pain yet for just another rusty Datsun. We'll see. We'll see. This thing will look like a roadworthy truck here shortly. Once we get out on the road, I want to make this thing look a little bit nicer. We'll steal the wheels off the parts truck because they are in much better condition than the wheels on this truck. And they're a little bit more aggressive. That'll look good. Let's see, what do I want to do with this truck? I want to get a lift kit for it. I want to get some nice tires for it and get some aftermarket bumpers for it. And essentially just use it like it was meant to be used. Like an old farm truck. I'll take it up to the mountains, drive it around on those trails up there where I got the dirt bike stuck, and just anywhere it'll go. Around town here they are doing a project on the mountain that's close by. I guess you would call it a mountain. At least that's what it's called when you say the name of the mountain. They're not really meant for cars though. They're gonna be pedestrian pedestrian walkways up to the top of the mountain, but you never know. Maybe we can use this thing to get up there and maybe help like a stuck victim one day. Who knows? We'll see. Rear tail lights are on. Looking good. Glad I threw those in the truck when we went to buy it, because pretty sure they were in the bed. Along with the supercharged engine was in the bed, covering up the engine cover and this engine. So yeah, I'm not really sure how so much water got inside this engine, but hopefully it'll be fine. There's a bunch of people online that say these Subarus suck and they're the most unreliable key trucks, but I don't know, I've not really had that issue with them yet, especially with the van. The van's been very, very good since I fixed the transmission. I drive it every single day. It looks good with the new paint job. I've got to clean it up. You can see some streaks in it from like the rain and the windshield wiper fluid, but yeah, it's looking good. It's not really dulled yet. It's been, I don't know, a month since I painted it. I'm having a couple adhesion problems, like up here. I think I missed like sanding up here, or maybe it was covered by tape. I don't really remember, but all in all, it still looks good. But yeah, if you ever get an ECVT, there's going to be one of two things wrong with it. Either the powder clutch is bad, or the brushes are bad. And as long as you can still get the parts, it's not that bad. The hard thing finding is the powder clutch, which I don't know how many versions of the powder clutch they made, but my version I could still buy it online. And then they also make two different kinds of brushes. There's a plastic brush and a metal brush. The plastic one, from what I read online, you could take them to like a electronic repair shop, and they can actually replace these brushes as long as you bring them the right ones. What they do is unsolder the brushes and resolder them. So I'll probably do that with this one soon, because this one's broken and they're not the same height, and the broken one is below the indicator, because if I remember correctly, the ones I put back in there weren't too good. They were probably close to the same height this one is, but obviously the same height on both sides of the brushes. But yeah, we'll use this one as backup eventually. And then this powder clutch is supposed to be good for, I don't know, just depends how you drive. Stop and starting is what kills them, and I've heard people say they last 30,000 kilometers, and I've heard people say they last over 150,000 kilometers. It just depends how you drive them. So we'll see. As long as I can keep buying powder clutches, it'll stay running. But this one is the 5-speed, and we'll keep this one running for as long as I can, until I can't find parts for it anymore. This one might stick around for a while if I actually enjoy it, since it'll be 4-wheel drive rig. If you're wondering, I did get that bolt out. It was pretty easy. I just drilled it out and used a easy out pretty much and got it out. It came right out. Gotta get some more bolts for that. I need 3 now, since there's only 3 in it. But yeah, let me cut the camera, and I've done all I can do until I get carburetor parts. Alright, our gasket showed up for our carburetor, so we're going to rebuild this carburetor right here on the back of the parts truck. First off, we are going to clean it. It's nasty, very nasty. parts are getting covered. Those over there. Alright. It's about as good as it's gonna get. I'm gonna take a couple pictures of this thing just so we don't forget anything. I can take this throttle cable off because it's been cut, which that's fine. It's just an extra part that we don't need. Found my other gloves, they're in the parts truck. $12? Yep. Trash. Alright, let's dig into this thing. We're going to take the top off here. We'll use the flathead side, it might be easier. Oh wow. Oh, those are on there tight. Helicopter. It's very cool. Let's get back to this carburetor. Oh no, please don't strip. Dang. I feel like I need a impact screwdriver. Give me a second. I'm gonna go get the impact screwdriver. Alright, got the impact screwdriver now. See what we can make happen. If you don't have an impact screwdriver, I highly recommend. That one might not be going back in. We're gonna set these over here because I think our new one came with new screws. Not exactly sure what this part is, but I do have a replacement with new screws. that's zip tied together. Boom. There we go. That's out of here. Now, should be able to take this off. And I don't know, it doesn't look that bad in there. I'm gonna need a razor for this. Oh, almost got it all. Almost got it all. It's really not that bad in here, I would say. Is this the top? I thought this is the top. I was looking for our floats, but yeah, this is the top, so there won't be any floats in the top. That does that. This is our choke, I believe. Set this over here. Let's get these 4 screws out of the bottom. This side is going to be our dirty side. Hopefully that bowl isn't too dirty. And hopefully our needle and seat looks good. Because I don't have a replacement needle and seat. I just have a replacement accelerator pump. Our accelerator pump goes right there, and it's screwed into our float bowl. So that means we have to take this bracket off so that we can pull that float bowl off, or pull the accelerator pump out. Now let's see if we can get this accelerator pump out. Got that one. Take the screw out and see if we can just take the whole bolt off and take the accelerator pump with us. Loosen it enough to get that accelerator pump off, like that. And there's the bowl. It's very clean in here. I was told that this needed a rebuild, but I think it would have ran perfectly fine, unless our accelerator pump is junk. But I don't know, it doesn't seem like it. There's almost no deposits in here. I mean, there's nothing up here. There's a tiny bit in the bowl, but I mean, nothing we can't run. Let that dry for a second. Clean that off. We'll take these floats out real quick, clean our needle and seat, and pop it right back in. Our spring fell off. Put that right there for now. Most of these floats just come right out. You can usually put it on its side or tap it with a screwdriver or something, and it should just make this pin fall out. There we go. We got, oh, I pushed it back in. Great. There we go. Got the pin out for our float. Then your float just comes out like that. Pretty clean. Not bad at all. Like those. With some carb clean. Let it dry. And this is your needle. And your seat is that part there. Needle's pretty clean. And our seat right here. We'll get that cleaned out real quick. There's carb cleaner in my glove and it burns extremely bad right now. Clean that. Clean that. Any orifice you see, just clean it out. I gotta get this glove off, it's burning. Alright, let's put our needle back in. Right there. Our float along with our pin goes here. Boom. And like that. Our carburetor is going to be like this. When it's like this, as you can see, the needle is off the seat, which lets fuel into the carburetor, and as it rises up, it's going to close that needle and seat and not allow fuel into the carburetor. That's all your float does. I need to clean that. That looks like a jet of some sort. go. That's pretty clean now. There's carb cleaner in my gloves again, and it's burning again. Oh man, I don't think they gave me enough O-rings to do all of these. That's fine. I'll look at the diagram on Amazon. This is our accelerator pump that we are going to be swapping out of this float bowl. My sweat is dripping into the carburetor. If you're going to be changing your accelerator pump, make sure you get the OEM accelerator pump, because the aftermarket ones are the wrong size from what I've heard on Facebook. If you need any information on these vehicles, I highly recommend the Sandbar Squad Facebook group. They've got about all the information you're ever going to need on these things. See that? That accelerator pump doesn't look bad at all. There's a little bit of varnish in there. Right there. But other than that, all the seals look fine and everything. I think I could have ran this carburetor as is, to be honest with you. Let me blow that out real quick, and then we'll throw that new accelerator pump in there. Alright. New accelerator pump. This is very simple to put in. All this stuff goes in last. This is your accelerator pump. This spring goes right here, and it goes big spring down like that. Next up, you're gonna want to get your plate here. It goes right there. Make sure it's the right way, I guess. That's your accelerator pump. I think I'm missing a gasket. Oh, it goes right here. Okay. Make sure you put this gasket through this hole before you put the plate on, because this is what seals up your accelerator pump. Like that. Perfect. We'll put that on. Put our accelerator pump all the way through. Perfect. That's going to seal up. And we'll put our screws in. And our accelerator pump will be done. Boom, accelerator pump is done. This is what squirts fuel into your intake. There we go. See? That's going to send it up that orifice and into the intake. We'll put our gasket back on here, and let me make sure I didn't miss any O-rings or anything on this side, because I might have to replace this one. I don't really know, because in my kit here, I only have one O-ring, but I see one there, and on this side there's a one right there. So I feel like I'm missing an O-ring. Alright, this is our schematic for our carburetor. What we're looking at is all the gaskets in number 3 here. To my understanding, this is the float bowl. It looks exactly like it because this is the accelerator pump. That 3 looks like it would go in the float bowl, but I'm not exactly sure where, so I'm thinking it goes in the center there, which means that we should replace this O-ring for this orifice and not worry about the one on the front or on the top. So that's what I'm gonna do. Let me grab a pick real quick and I'll see if I can get this O-ring off. Got us a pick here. Really hope this is the right O-ring. I don't know, that one seems very flat. But I don't know where else it would go. See, like that. That's our old one. Our old one is super flat though. Let me see if I can find another YouTube video and see if that's correct. Okay, I think replacing this O-ring will be fine, but when you take your float bowl off, be careful because these parts are going to fall out of this hole. Luckily I have an extra carburetor that's locked up, so I pulled this out of there. I found this part on the ground, but I can't find the little BB that came out of this carburetor. So yeah, make sure you don't lose that. Putting it back together, here's your bowl. Your BB goes in that hole right there, and this rod goes right here. And then we can put our gasket back on, our new gasket on. That's gonna sit right in that groove right there. And what we'll do here is flip the whole carburetor upside down so our gasket doesn't fall off. Just like that. That is perfect. Okay, our back side is where these little clips go for our wiring. Alright, our float bowl is back on. I have a new one of these coming in the mail from eBay. This is like a heat activated vacuum pass-through, I guess. Yeah, this one's obviously broke off, and I found one eBay seller that actually had it. All the other ones were out of stock. So yeah, I'm gonna throw this accelerator pump back on this shaft, and then we'll throw that vacuum thing back on. That's in right there. Put this screw all the way back in. Make sure your accelerator pump is nice and straight. Looking good, looking good. Now for this, we'll put it back how it came with our 3 screws here. That one's good. We'll throw our spring back on. That's our throttle return spring. That opens up fine. I'm not seeing any problems, so that's good. We'll replace this as well. I guess we could throw the top back together. Let me go grab a razor real quick. We'll clean this gasket surface and then we'll throw this nice thick gasket on here. I'll be right back with the razor blade. Got us a razor blade here. We'll clean these mating surfaces really fast. Make sure they're nice and smooth for our new gasket. And so it doesn't leak. Man, I wish our rebuild kit came with one more O-ring so we could replace that one. But it is what it is. I don't think it's going to leak because I can see it bulging past the edge all the way around, but it would be nice to have the correct part. There we go. We'll hit this with the brass brush real quick. And we'll do this side too. And I'm just going to clean a few more things I think need to be cleaned. Some of these orifices, some of these things that look like jets. Alright, I would say we're looking good. I got more carb cleaner on me in it. It burns. Throw this gasket on here. Make sure you guys can see me. It's gonna go this way, I believe. Make sure all of our holes line up. Looking good, looking good. And we'll start putting some screws back in here. We'll put the bad ones in easy to access areas in case we have to rebuild this in the future. Looks good to me. We've got to replace these, and then I think this thing is broke. I can't tell. Yeah, judging by this carburetor, this piece is broke. So probably steal it off of this carburetor. In the meantime, I'm going to start replacing things. If you remember, if you saw, this grounds basically back to the carburetor, right back to itself. And this runs kind of through here and around to something. I don't know yet. Put that vacuum hose back on. Put this thing in the hole. Trying my best not to break the seal or anything. Perfect. I think that's just a cap. Doesn't do anything. Because the other one does not have that. So I think that that was just a cap. Looks good to me. That one's in as well. Looking good, looking good. These little things here, what hold these wires in place. I'm missing the one for this screw, but it'll be fine. We don't need both of them. Next up, we replace this. What size is that? 19? Perfect. It's in there pretty good. Trying to make sure I don't break anything. I have to put this in a vise or something, or hit it with a hammer. Something. Just don't want to break anything. Got it. If you hit your wrench with a hammer, you basically got an impact. Slide this right in there. And tighten it down. Perfect. These go together like this so that they can plug into a connector. Last but not least, we're going to take this top plate off and put a new O-ring in there, or a gasket, or rubber gasket, whatever you want to call it. I don't know why I had to swap the flathead for that last one, but it is what it is. This, couldn't tell you what it was. Never seen this before on a carburetor. But we are going to change that gasket and clean it out. Perfect. Oh, it's a rectangle, not a square. Great. So your gasket's gonna go like that. And then we'll throw these screws back in here and we'll be done with the carburetor. Yeah, let me tighten these down and we'll start getting this carburetor in the truck. It is the next day. I got this replaced on my carburetor. Still got to put this pin into this connector, but we'll do that once it's on. I'm going to replace the gaskets that go on this spot that goes to the intake real quick, and we'll get this carburetor on. After we get the carburetor on, we should just be able to throw the starter on and a jump pack, and it should fire off in theory. This is going to go like this, I assume. And then this gasket is gonna go right here. And then we take this spacer. Spacer is gonna go right here. And we take our last gasket here. Throw that on. And now this should, in theory, bolt right to our intake, as long as nothing falls out. I got a good feeling our gaskets have fallen out, both of them. Let me pull this back off. Got that coolant passage swapped out from the parts carburetor. Really glad I had that parts carburetor, or we'd be kind of out of luck. I'm going to, I got this in. I was doing it upside down for some reason. I'm gonna get our little rubber gasket in here with some RTV, just a little bit so it doesn't fall out, because it looks like when I tightened it down the first time I pinched the gasket, so it's not very good for it. Throw some RTV in it, and we'll throw this carburetor on the way it's supposed to be. Here we go. Got just a tiny bit of RTV on there so the gasket doesn't fall out this time. And we'll throw this carburetor on now that it's not going to leak. That's looking good. That one's on. All right, carburetor's on. Let's see if we can figure out where some of these hoses go. First off, I'm gonna plug in this connector down here for the carburetor. It goes right there. Throw this hose on. This hose on. The one on the top is smaller, so it can only go on the top. That'll be fine there. small one goes there. I'm gonna go with that hose goes there and that hose goes there. And they sit in this little groove here. What else? There's a lot of vacuum lines here. I don't know where they go. This one I'm gonna assume goes there or there. Who knows? This one we're just gonna move to here if I can get it to look good. Yep, right there for that one. We'll move that later. Still got a couple hoses here. I'm gonna go with interesting. That's gonna go there, and then there might be a vacuum line on our air box that's not here yet. This is our throttle cable. I gotta remember, I've gotta replace that part down there. The heat activated thing. Because that hose is gonna go there. This is gonna go here, I believe. And then the problem here is this vacuum hose. It might go here, but there's gonna be an opening here. I think I'm missing a hose or something, because this is gonna go here. I think that's our fuel in. But what goes here? I don't know. There we go. This is our starter. Hopefully it works. This was another buy from the dealership, and they've already sold me the wrong alternator, so who knows about the starter. Let me figure out these vacuum lines real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, if you look here, looks like that hose I was wondering about missing. It goes to the air box, which is kind of weird because I thought it was like a fuel return or something. So at least we know where that hose goes. Let me see if I can figure out where some of these other vacuum lines go. Got a new angle here so I could throw the starter in. If you looked at that image closely, there was a black cap over this vacuum port. So we're just gonna put a little vacuum cap over that, and we won't have to worry about it. The only vacuum hose I'm not sure about is this one. I have no idea where it's supposed to go. So let's throw the starter in. Got the starter here. I believe these are our starter bolts. Well, no, this is for our alternator. I've got one bolt here for the starter, but not the other bolt. Oh, looks like it's just a nut. There we go. All right. Got that starter nut in. Let me see if I can find the bolt, because I pulled the starter from the other truck, so I've got to have a bolt laying around here somewhere that'll fit. Can't find that starter bolt, so we might just run it for now. I'm gonna throw this throttle cable on real quick, and then we'll hook up a jump pack and see if it wants to bust off for us. Got our throttle cable on. Hooking up our jump box now. It's hard to do with one hand. There we go. Let's see what happens. Not really sure when the fuel pump is supposed to run. So, might take a second to get fuel or something. See what happens. No. Oh, I'm such an idiot. Might help if I hook the starter up. Okay, I got our starter hooked up now. Throw the jump box back on. See what happens. Jump box is hooked up. See if it'll spin over now. I think that starter's heavy. This jump box might not be enough to turn it over either. Let me pull the starter back off and see if the other one will work. The starter out of the flash truck is kind of locked up, so I just put this one back on. And we'll see what happens this time. I don't know. What happens if we jump the starter? Same thing happens if we jump the starter. So does that mean this starter is bad too? understand. Let me take the starter back off and see what we can figure out. Okay, this is supposed to be our good starter, but this is what happens when we jump it. Shit, I'm gonna break that. Stay. I don't know. Looks like it works to me. Why is it not working in the truck? Explain that to me. Is it because we're missing that top bolt? I don't think so. It's not going to move anything if I put that top bolt in. But, I don't know. Is this the wrong starter? I don't know. Let me see what I can figure out. Alright guys, it's the next day. I kind of got a makeshift battery hooked to these battery cables. It's not very tight, but we'll see. I also got the jump box on here just for some extra power. We'll see if this thing cranks over now. I cleaned up a few connections, like the connectors on the starter itself, so hopefully that helps our connection as well. Let's see if it'll crank over. It did crank over better that time. I think right now we're just dealing with the low voltage. It'll crank over a few times, but it sounds like the starter disengages some. So I'm gonna chalk that up to just a low battery. I didn't even check the voltage on that battery, and it's from 2022. So yeah, there's a good reason, or a good chance it's not charged. I'm going to check fuel, see if we're getting fuel, and see if I can figure out an actual battery situation. All the batteries I have are too big to fit in that tray, and the terminals on them are too big for the terminal that are on the truck. So give me just a few minutes. Look right here at this hose while I crank over. See if we're getting fuel. It's wet. Guess our fuel pump works. It's good to know. Let me figure out the battery and we'll see if this thing will run. I see magic smoke. we have spark. Or if there's fuel, enough fuel yet. Let me see if we're getting fuel out of our return. Oh yeah. Plenty of fuel out of the return. I wonder if we have a spark. I don't really know a good way to test it with just one person. I'm going to wait for Meredith to get home so I can see if we've got spark. At least we're making some advancements. We'll see if it'll start once she gets home. Alright, got everything hooked back up. Pulled a spark plug here. We're just gonna see if it has spark. Can you go twist the key? It might be in the seat.
Not a problem. We've got beepage.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
Yeah, it's sparking. Okay, I guess that means we just need a stronger battery. Alright, I got both of our battery terminals swapped out. I stole the battery out of the van, and we're gonna see if this thing will run today. This is the moment of truth. Got the battery hooked up, we'll see if it runs now. It started for a second and ran, and then I pressed the fuel and it stopped. So trying to figure that out. I'm not sure why the starter is making that noise again, but it's still spinning the engine over. So yeah, the starter wire is pretty hot. The starter itself is very hot. We'll give it a break and wait for that starter to cool down, and we'll try again. Alright, our starter has cooled down. I also pulled out the spark plugs and cleaned them off just because they felt a little bit wet. So we're gonna see if this thing will start up again. Let me pull this starter off and see if I can figure out why it's doing that again. I think that noise is a combination of our flywheel being a little bit rusty, like our ring gear, and us not having that top bolt for the starter. I did find a bolt that's the right thread, but it's not long enough. So we'll go and get a top starter bolt for it a little bit later. I'm gonna throw the battery back on, spin this over, and I might shoot some carburetor cleaner in it and see if it'll pop off on anything flammable. Okay, I got a top starter bolt for us. I pulled the spark plugs again to dry them off again. I think I'm gonna pull this distributor cap off and spin the engine over with no spark plugs on it to see if there's any fluid or anything in our cylinders. Pulled the rotor out too. So let's see what comes out of this engine. That's a new one. I don't know why it's making that noise. Let's throw these spark plugs back in. See what happens. I think I have some starter fluid. I might look for it. See if we can find it. Found some starting fluid. Got all the spark plugs back in. Battery's still connected. Let's see if it'll do something with some starting fluid. Oops. I don't understand what's wrong with this starter. Let me pull it back off. Alright, took the starter out, hit it with some PB Blaster. Hopefully that'll help some. I really don't know why it's doing what it's doing. I'm gonna hit this with some starting fluid again and see if it'll start. But it's not very good at it. See if it'll start back up. just buy a starter for it eventually. I'll get this carburetor adjusted when I get the alternator so the battery doesn't die. And then should be good. Hopefully this smoke will clear up soon. Like I said, I think that's from the transmission fluid that we put into the intake. It should clear up. The valves aren't too terribly loud. I don't hear any knocking. The more we run it, the more those cylinders are going to clean up from the little bit of rust that was in them. Hopefully we'll be able to put this thing on the road by the end of the week. I got an alternator on the way. It's in New York right now. And then I've got headlights in that same package, stuff like that. Glad to see it finally running. This might be the idle adjustment. Tell. It doesn't feel like it's doing anything. I don't know where the idle air adjustment screw is. The smoke's starting to clear up. Finally. Alright, I'll see you guys in about a week when my alternator shows up, and I'll try to source the starter for this thing. Back out here on the sandbar today, our package finally showed up. I've got headlights and marker lights now, along with the lid for our airbox. The alternator I got sent is the wrong one. It's the same as this one with the wrong pulley on it. So I might try to bend this pulley back out and put this one on to see if it'll charge. As long as it works, it'll be fine. And then in the meantime, I can order another one. I just want to drive this thing today. So we're gonna probably pull this out and work on it out here since it's no longer raining. And we'll get some parts on and throw the battery from the van in it And hopefully we'll be able to drive it around today. Go ahead and throw our airbox on here. I guess this vacuum line does go to the airbox. And then we'll have to find a hose to go from here to here on the carburetor. It goes like that. This vacuum line goes to that part that we still don't have yet because it's still in Japan. Let me go see if I can fix the alternator. That's a little bit straighter, but if I turn it sideways and spin it, it walks a bunch. And I still have no idea if it's going to charge because it's full of junk. Guess we'll go install it and see what happens. Got bolts in. That alternator walks a bunch. Oh, they're both in. Okay. Alternator installed. Let me go get the belt real quick. Here we are with our belt. It goes crank to alternator. That's it. We'll get this pretty close, and then we'll put a whole bunch of tension on that belt. That's a little loose. Much better. Tighten this front one. She ain't going nowhere. That's on. And then and we'll find a nut for that. Pulled this from the other alternator. That should be it for alternator wiring. Hopefully that charges. This boot goes here, it goes on the carburetor, and it goes to the air box. These are supposed to have hose clamps. I might have to go get a hose clamp. Yeah, let me go grab 2 hose clamps. I'll be right back. Alright, found us some hose clamps so we don't have any vacuum leaks. Tighten it down. And this one will go right here. Come on now. There we go. There we go. Hose clamp on the carburetor side. And now a hose clamp on the airbox side. I think that's it besides this one hose. Let me see if I can wrangle up some hose. Alright, I got some 3/8 hose right here. It fits pretty good. I don't even know what this is for, but if it goes, it goes. I think they still sell the OEM hose for this, and I might order it when I go to get us some mirrors, but we'll see. That'll work, but that hose is touching something. So yeah, I might have to order the OEM hose so it doesn't rub a hole into this hose. Alright, that looks all good. There is one more thing I have to do. I think we have the wrong valve cover, so I need to block off this because it's just going to be an oil leak if I leave it. So let me find some more hose and block that off real quick. There we go. Got that capped off with an old rusty bolt. It'll be fine for now. Let's see how hard it is to get these headlights in. And we might throw the old crappy bumper on and we'll take it for a test drive. Alright, it looks like a couple of these bolts line up to these holes. And it looks like it bolts in from the back side. So let's see how this works. I need 4 nuts for both headlights, 2 for each side. See this? We'll screw that one in, and then this just kind of hooks on there and goes in like that. Okay, we got this headlight in. Like I said, there's 2 bolts on the back side. You have to go in onto the dash and bolt those in. A little screw goes here. And then for this marker light, it's not that light bulb. Great. Screw it. This marker light is not going to work. Alright, this side's in. Let me throw this other side in real quick. I'll be right back. Both headlights and both marker lights are in. Let's see if we can very poorly put a bumper up there that is broken. This is our poor, beat up, broken bumper. Half the bolts on this side don't fit or are broken. So yeah, gotta pull these turn signals before we put it up there. Alright, both turn signals are out. Yeah, that side's just gonna fall. It's on. Looks like a truck now. First time I've seen it with a front bumper on it and headlights. Looking good. Guess we'll throw the van's battery in it. See if it'll drive around. Got our battery installed. Let's see if she'll fire up for us today. That alternator. It's pretty shaky. Oh, it's gonna shut off. Couldn't find the throttle fast enough. Bad. I want to see if it's charging. Uh, 13.1. It's low, but might be charging. out this bed, and we'll take it in the backyard and swap the tires out. Alright, they're finally together. I'm gonna swap the good tires off the parts truck onto this truck, and we'll go get some gas in this thing. Oh yeah, got those tires swapped out. That aggressive tread looks pretty good on this thing. Pretty good. Let's go get some gas. We're driving the truck now, on the way to get some gas. Drives pretty good. We definitely need some mirrors though. It's faster than the van because it's not automatic.
We made it to the gas pump. That's its first drive on the road. How would you rate it on a scale of 1 through 10?
It's not running right. I don't know exactly how to adjust the carburetor because the screw that I thought was the idle air mixture screw, it doesn't really do anything. We're doing a little bit of trail riding. So we're gonna follow this power line trail all the way down, but it's so overgrown we won't make it.
Like we'll die?
No. And we can go up that steep hill in 4-wheel drive right there.
We won't have flashbacks from the dirt bike incident.
Let's see if it'll go up.
If you're a good subscriber, you will remember the dirt bike incident. Big Bill, I'm looking at you.
4-wheel drive. Oh, like it's nothing.
Oh, hell yeah, brother.
Like it's nothing.
That was so easy.
Didn't even struggle.
No, not at all. Not at all. That was great. Amazing. They're probably... This dude over here is probably wondering where the hell we came from. Oh, God. God. He's kicking his feet.
Fast. It's a lot faster than the van. Oh God, we're gonna flip. Oh God. I need to buy mirrors for it and more window cranks. Did some running around, still wouldn't idle, and we're home now. I figured out why it wouldn't idle. So this is the mixture screw from the parts carburetor, and this is the mixture screw from this carburetor. A miracle has happened. Someone came to the parts truck today to get the fuel tank out of it, and I casually mentioned, yeah, this carburetor's messed up, the idle air screws broke off inside and I can't get it out. And he said, oh, I've got a carburetor that you can have. So we got a new carburetor. It's got the idle air mixture screw. It's not broke. All it's missing is the coolant passage for, I believe, the choke. Maybe, I don't know what it's for, but we'll get that swapped onto this good carburetor. He said it's been rebuilt. I'm probably gonna pull the bottom bowl off just to make sure everything's in there. We'll swap that coolant passage and get it on. And I finally bought an actual battery for this truck, so I don't have to steal it out of the van anymore. So let me throw all that on, and then we'll get to driving this thing again, get it tuned out, and just get it overall running as good as it can. Alright, got the carburetor on and the battery in. Let's see if this carburetor will run. think it's pulling fuel now. We're going to bring a screwdriver with us in case it doesn't want to idle. Alright, see you guys on the road. South Carolina on their adventure route. We kind of have a plan for next video with this thing. I think once we get it registered and technically completely legal, I think we're going to take it up to Carolina Adventure World and see how it really does off-roading. Because right now we're just pretty much on a gravel road in South Carolina. Carolina Adventure World's a little bit far away to be going without a tag. But yeah, they made it here. We're driving pretty good.
Dog got his whole head out the window. Say hi, buddy. My ride's here.
Well, that's about all I've got for you guys. If you want to see more content like this, let me know. Let me know in the comments what you guys want to see me do. I want to get back into more of the will it runs. I want to buy some more Datsuns. I've also got the RV project we could start. It's got a blown head gasket and I still need to do all the metal work to it. So just let me know. Stick around for next video on this Subaru. We're gonna take it off-roading. I'm just not sure where at yet. But yeah, make sure you like and subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you guys want to see, and I'll see you in the next one.